The Vlookup function is one of the most used functions in Excel, and it allows you to look up values from another place or another sheet or another data table. So we need to get the department and the bonus percentage for each of these individuals. So let's assume that this information was sent to us. The HR department sent it to us and we pulled it into this tab, Vlookup-data. So here we have a lot more names, right? And then we also have the division and the department. And then we have the salary and the bonus percentage over here. So we have everything that we need to pull it in, but we just need to figure out how to do so. Now, of course, on smaller data sets, we could do this manually, right? You can take a look at the individual, look at their department and their division and the salary and the bonus, and you could do this manually. But that would take a lot of time. And the moment that you have a lot more data and your master data set is huge, this would pretty much be impossible. And you need to be able to do this in a dynamic way. Now that's when we can use the Vlookup function. So let's go back to our original tab here, the Vlookup. Now here we have the department and the bonus that we need to pull in. And we have the name of the individual and we have the salary. So how are we going to do this? Well, let's start off with the Vlookup function. Now, I want to tell you first that the Vlookup stands for vertical lookup. That's what that V stands for. So we're going to start with equals, and then we're going to type Vlookup. So first we have the lookup value. So all this is asking is what value are you looking for? And here we're looking for the name, right? So this is our lookup value. So we can go ahead and select the name here. The next argument is where are you looking this up? And we're looking it up in this table over here, right? So we'll go over to this tab and we're looking it up in this table. But notice something special about this data set. The name of the person that I'm looking for is on the left-hand side of the table, right? And then the division and the department are on the right-hand side here. So I can't highlight just this because it's never going to be able to find the person from here, right? Because we wouldn't be including that person. So with Vlookup, it's always going to look in the first column on the left-hand side of your table for that lookup value. So we need to select this entire area here. Now, I want the department back, and the division is in the way, but that is totally okay. It doesn't matter. You just have to highlight one range of cells. Even if you had 5, 6, or 7 columns in between the lookup value and what you're trying to return, that is totally okay. It does not matter at all. You just need to remember that the lookup value has to be on the left-hand side of the table array in that very first column. Okay, let's go back to our lookup tab here. So next we have the call index number, and that's the column that you want returned. And here we want the department returned. And in our table array, we had 3 columns, right? And we're looking for the department, and that was in the 3rd column of our table array. So we are going to enter 3 here. And our last argument is very important, and that is if you want an approximate or an exact match. So it is an optional argument, and many people actually tend to forget it, but it is super important. Otherwise, you might get the wrong answers. So in this case, I want an exact match. I want to look exactly for this person, Haley Bankler, and I want Excel to give me back the department. So I want to go with false here. Then I'm going to close my bracket and I'm going to press enter. And there we have the department of this individual, which is amazing. Now, before I copy this formula down, I want you to think about the referencing here. So I'm going to open up the formula here. Now, as I pull this down, do I want this value to go down with it? Well, yes, right? Because I want to look for the next individual and then the next and then the next. But do I want my table array to move down as well? So if we go back to this tab over here, this was our table array. But once I pull my formula down, this is going to shift with it. So with each row shift, it's going to shift the table array down one. So I'll show you. If I pull this down, we can see that our table array goes from A5 to C28 to A6 to C29. So it's shifting that table down, and we definitely don't want to do that, right? So we'll open this back up with F2. We can leave this as a relative reference, but we want to lock our table array in place. So we'll hit F4, and then we'll hit F4 here again, and then we'll hit enter. And now when I pull this on down, our table array is going to be locked. So it's continually going to reference just that same table array that we originally referenced in order to look for the value of this individual and then return the department back. Now let's go back to our Vlookup tab and let's calculate our bonuses here. So we're going to start with equals Vlookup. Next, we have our lookup value. And what is our lookup value? Well, that's the salary, right? Because the salary is exactly what's going to feed us to our bonus. The bonus is dependent on the salary. Next, we have our table array, so we can go back over to this tab and we'll select our table array here. And again, make sure that your lookup value is on the left-hand side, the leftmost column of your table array. Then we have the call index number. And so this is the column that contains your return value. And we want the bonuses returned, right? So this is in the second column of our table array. So we can enter 2 here. And then finally, do we want an exact or an approximate match here? Well, we want an approximate match, right? And that is because our salaries aren't going to be a one-to-one match. If our salary is within these certain ranges, we want that bonus returned. So we'll enter true here, we'll close our bracket, and we'll press enter. Perfect, we have our bonus. Now, before I pull this all the way down, what do we need to do? Well, let's open this back up with F2. So we want this value, the yearly salary, to move down as we pull this formula down. But we don't want our table array to move. So we want to lock this in place with F4. Then we'll go ahead and press enter, and then we can pull these bonuses all the way down here. And perfect, we've calculated the bonus for each of these individuals. So that's how you can use VLOOKUP inside of Excel. Just remember that it's very important to understand how to use that last argument anytime, whether you're looking for an exact match or an approximate match. Just make sure you know exactly what you're looking for and you specify that last argument even though it is optional.